Today we're going to talk about the square root method. So keep in mind that when we take the square root of something, a square root is the inverse of a square, right? So we also need to keep in mind that sometimes we have perfect squares, which are going to be like when we did Pythagorean theorem in 7th grade. So if I took the square root of 36, I would get 6. Sometimes it's going to be a not perfect square. Square root of 28 is not going to be a perfect number. It's going to be 5 point something. So we're going to look at that today. We're going to look at that using Win here. Win is trying to build a square deck around his new hot tub. To decide how large a deck he should build, he needs to determine the length of the side, x, of different sized decks given the possible area of each deck. Okay, so keep in mind when we take the area of a square, it is side squared. So whatever number x is times itself would be the area. Using the information, he writes the following equations and represents each of the decks he's considering. So solve these equations. So remember, we're asking ourselves what times itself is 49. So x is 7. Now, keep in mind, if we are saying essentially something times something is 49, yes, we could do 7 times 7, but we could also do a negative 7 times a negative 7. So when you take the square root of something, you will generally get plus or minus whatever that value is, okay? Because a negative times a negative is in fact that positive. So if we look at B, and I want to show you the mathematical way to do this, x squared equals 100. So we're going to essentially, to get rid of that squared, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So a square root and a square cancel each other. So x equals square root of 100. We could say 10 times 10 is 100. We could say negative 10 times negative 10. We talked about this plus or minus symbol a while back, so you can write them out separately, or in fact, you can write plus or minus 10. So if I look at C and I take the square root of x squared, right, those are going to cancel. And I have to take the square root of 15. Now this is an imperfect square. So we're just going to write x is equal to plus or minus. We're not going to use our calculator. We're just going to say the square root of 15. If you wanted to get a decimal number, you could go to your calculator, square root of 15. I forgot my 1. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. Control 1, 5. 3.87 blah blah blah. It's just going to keep going. So for our purposes, we're going to leave it in square root form. Now D is a little more complicated. So before we can get to this x squared, we have to get rid of this 2. So the 2 is being multiplied. So we're just going to use our regular equation rules. So now I have divide by 2 on both sides. X squared equals 9. And now I can in fact take the square root of both sides. X equals plus or minus 3, because a positive 3 times itself is 9 and a negative 3 times itself is 9. So we just had an extra step here. X squared minus 4 equals 0. So again, we're going to undo the add subtract. X squared equals 4. Now I can take that square root piece. X is equal to plus or minus 2, because that is a perfect square. On F, we're going to do the same thing as we did on letter E. Move our 2 over. X squared equals negative 2. So when I go to take the square root of a negative 2, there is no number times itself that would be a negative 2, because you can do, it'd have to be either a negative and a negative or a positive and a positive, and that neither one of those will give you a negative number. So I want to just show you in your calculator, square root of a negative 2 is error. You cannot do it. You cannot take the square root of a negative number. So when we go to, my computer doesn't want to open back up. There we go. So when we go to this, this is no real solutions. Because you cannot take the square root of a negative number. Okay, you just can't do it. When we look at G, we're going to take the 3 away on both sides. So x squared equals 0. If I take the square root, well, I can take the square root of 0. I just get 0 because 0 doesn't have a positive or a negative. So that is a review of what a square root is and how to solve one. So when we look at these, what do they all have in common? Well, they were all quadratics because they're all squares. Okay, they all have x squared. What type of numbers are represented in these solutions? Well, it's going to be a positive and a negative counterpart. So these are called all real numbers. If you remember, it's the funny little r with the 2 lines. All real numbers meaning positive, negative, integers, and rationals, and 0. How many solutions do the equations have? All of them had 2, except 1F and 1G. Those F had no solutions, G only had 1. So which solutions are reasonable for the side lengths of a square? Well, only the positives. Only the positive numbers, because you cannot have a negative measurement. Okay, so let's keep looking at this. Here they've given you an example. Isolate the x squared term, take the square root on both sides. So you can see they moved the 6. They added 6 to both sides. I'm not sure why my computer did that. I apologize. Add 6 to both sides. 0 plus 6 gave you the 6. They divided by the 3, got x squared equals 2. They took the square root, and again, they wrote it like this. So let's do a little practice. I'm going to have you pause and then come back and check your answers. Okay, welcome back. So for A, you should have gotten x. Sorry, that should just be x, not x squared. X is equal to plus or minus the square root of 11. Remember, we're just going to leave them as a square root. B, x plus or minus 2. And C, x plus or minus square root of 5. Up here, I give you a little reminder. Every positive number has 2 square roots and the principal square root and its opposite. So that's why we have a plus and a minus sign. So here, just as a recap, quadratics can have 0, 1, or 2 real solutions. Fill in the table. So if we look at our examples, x squared equals a positive number, and we go back to our previous page, we could say this is like letter A or even letter B. So we have, why does it keep doing that? We can say here, x squared equals 49. We could say, x squared equals 100. This is where we're going to get 2 solutions because this is plus or minus 7, plus or minus 10. We only have 1 solution, so for the one we had earlier, which was x squared minus 3 equals, negative 3. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we got x squared equals 0, and we only have 1 solution. If we're going to get a negative number, so if I have x squared plus 2 equals 0, this gave us x squared equals negative 2. So that's going to be no solution. So those are not going to cross the x-axis. As a real world equation, here we have a frame, 2 inches along each side. The total area is 66. It wants us to put an equation for the unshaded area. So label the sides of the unshaded area as x and then fill in the box. So it told us earlier the area was 66 in square inches. And in terms of x, we would say x plus 2 quantity squared when we did that with the algebra tiles way at the beginning. we were looking at some of that. So you can see down here they've solved that for us. Now because the x plus 2 is in parentheses, they took the square root first, and then so you have square root plus or minus 66, and then they moved the 2 over. So we are going to have an integer plus then or minus a square root. You could use your calculator there if you wanted. Are they both valid in terms of number 4? No. Because if we go through, we could say only the second one because it's positive. And again, we're not going to have negative measurements. So here are a couple of practices of that. So I'm going to have you try, I'm going to do this first one, and I'm going to have you try the second two. So now we need to get rid of the square root first. So now I have x minus 5. The square root of 121 is plus or minus 11. And this is where it gets a little tricky. So I need to add 5 to both sides. Well, this is actually two different numbers. So now I have x equals 5 plus 11, and I have x equals 5 minus 11. So I can keep solving those, and I would get 16. But down here, I would get negative 6. If you want to try the next two, you can pause me and then come back and see the work. All right, so for B, we got 1 plus or minus the square root of 6 over 2. And then for C, again, it came out to a nice, pretty whole number. No, I apologize. I did this incorrectly. There should be a square root here. Let me go back and fix that. So we would just have 6 plus the square root of 2 and 6 minus the square root of 2. And remember, these are all going to be our roots or our solutions, our zeros, our x-intercepts. So now I have a couple of practice problems for you to do on the Google Doc. If you have any questions, please let me know.